Hi guys, Todd here from Great Escape Farms. I am standing in front of a Viking Aronia plant here. This is a very unique plant. Its Latin name is Aronia melancarpa. It is a member of the rose family, and it is a deciduous cold hardy shrub which is hardy from zones 3 down to zone 8, or actually from zone 8 down to zone 3. And it's a native of eastern North America. Its leaves are alternate on the branches, and they are 1 to 3 inches long and are just under 1 inch up to 2 inches wide. In late May, it has fragrant flowers, and the fruit matures in August. We are at the beginning of August here, and mine are starting to fruit, so I'll give you a close-up here in just one moment, and you can take a look at that. The fruit is edible, but it is very astringent. You can make wine, jam, syrup, juice, soft spreads, teas, salsa, extracts, beer, ice cream, gummies, tincture, all kinds of stuff with it. It is said to have higher levels of antioxidants than any other temperate fruit. The fruit is bisexual and is pollinated by bees, so you only have to have one plant. You don't need multiple plants around to produce fruit. So this is a very easy plant to propagate. I have about a 95% success rate on it. And the Viking type grows a little bit shorter than some of the other Aronia plants. This will grow between 3 and 6 feet. So right now it's standing about 5 feet. And a lot of it's about 4 years old, and a lot of the reason that it's only that high is because I've been trimming on it for pretty much since it's been planted and getting a lot of cuttings and trimmings off of it. So like I said, I've about a 95% success rate with it. So you can see right here I have some plants or some berries that are just starting to ripen. You see the pink and the purple, and these are a little bit more ripened. They're purple. They will actually go to almost a complete black color when they're ripe. And again, it is very astringent. Another name for this plant is chokeberry, because if you eat the fruit raw, it almost makes you want to choke, just because of the astringency. However, that is the same thing that gives it its antioxidant capabilities. So mixed in with a lot of stuff, this is one of the superfoods up and coming, and I'm sure you'll see about it coming in the future. So let's get a feel for where we are here. Actually, I had one back here. Where is it? Right here. I snapped this one earlier. You can see where it snapped, and it's a little bit woody in there, a little bit grainy. So this is semi-hardwood or semi-softwood, whichever you want to call it. So we'll go a little bit lighter on the solution than I have in the past. I've gone with softwoods, I go 20-to-1 solution. With the hardwood here, I'll go 10-to-1 with the rooting hormone solution, and we'll see that in a moment. So where the plant has grown from this year, right at the tip of my finger here. I don't know, let's see if I can bend it so you can get a little sunlight on it. It's tough as I move it, the whole thing is moving. But right at the tip of my finger, to the right on this side is where the older wood is, and to the left where it's you see the changing color here, that's where the new growth is. So I'm only going to take from the left side going up, or actually the upper side when it's not bent over, and you can see the mark right there where I'd made previous cuts. So it's kind of easy to see on this. Also, another way to tell with the Aronia, I took note that all of the flowers were at the top of the plant when it first bloomed out, or when it first started growing in May. So where the berries are now, that's where the flowers were before. That was the top of the plant. So everything above the berries is new growth from this year. So it's getting tired of me cutting it back, and it's trying to really spring up to its natural height here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my trimmers and go ahead and cut these right here, and I'll take them over to the table and make some smaller cuttings so you can see what I'm doing. Hey guys, quick sidebar here on tools. So you can use whatever tool you want, a pair of scissors, a sharp knife, a pair of cutters like I have here, just trimmers. What you want is something that's very, very sharp, that will cut without bruising the cambium of the wood that you're cutting. So the cambium is the soft part where the water goes up. You don't want to bruise that, you want to actually cut that. So make sure your tools are very sharp, whatever you're using. Also make sure they're clean. So I clean mine after every type of plant I do. So if I'm doing Adams elderberry, before I move to a John's elderberry, I'll clean it. I may do 100 cuts on an Adams elderberry, and I'll only clean it the first time before I do it. And then before I move on to a John's or a Nova elderberry, I will go ahead and clean it again. So I'm grabbing these just out of the shed. I can't remember if I cleaned it last time, so I'm going to start off by cleaning. The way that I'm going to clean is I'm just going to take some regular hand sanitizer here, whatever type you are into, and put a couple squirts on a paper towel. And by that, next I'm just going to rub it on the tool all along here. And I'm not so much worried about getting dirt off as I am worried about killing any fungus or bacteria or any kind of disease that would spread from plant to plant. So I want to make sure, and this hand sanitizer will kill any of that stuff. So all I need to do is rub it on the whole area, go ahead and wipe it off, and then we are good to go. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my cuts. Okay guys, I'm here to make up the rooting hormone solution for this section of the video. So I use the Dip and Grow liquid rooting hormone solution. That's a picture of what it looks like. You open it up and there's all kinds of warnings on it saying not to get it on your skin and everything. If you have sensitive skin, you might want to use rubber gloves. In here it does talk about different dosages to use, which is why I like the liquid stuff. So for hardwood cuttings, you use a 1:5 ratio. For medium softwood cuttings, you use a 10:1 ratio. And for softwood cuttings, you use a 20:1 ratio. So I am working with softwood cuttings here. So I am going to mix 20:1. I actually measured this out earlier. So for me, it's a 1.5 cups of this solution in this particular container here, mixed with water, and then I fill it up 3/4. Or I fill it up 3/4 with water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up real quick. So there's 1 cap, and then about a half, and then I'm going to fill this 3/4 of the way up with water, and that's about 3/4. And now my rooting hormone is ready to go. So that's it for this. Let me go ahead and do some more cuttings, and then we'll actually dip it in the rooting hormone. Okay guys, I have taken my cuttings from the Viking Aronia here, and what I'm going to do is go right below the bottom leaf here, and I'm just going to trim that off. And what I'm looking for is 2 to 4 internodes. I'm kind of sticking with 4 right now. So an internode is every place that one of the leaves comes in. And what I'm going to do is leave 2 leaves on and take 2 off. So the bottom 2, I'm just going to kind of pull off like that, and you can just kind of throw them to the side. And then I'm going to trim up above. So this way I know where the leaves are is up on top. So I'm going to go through each one of these. I'm going to trim close to the bottom here, peel the bottom 2 off, keep the top 2 on. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then once I do it, we'll move on to the rooting hormones. Actually, I'll just show you that now, and then we'll head right over and put them in the ground. So I will trim all the rest of these up. I'll dip them all in rooting hormone, and then we'll go ahead and plant them. So what you do is once you get them like this with the 4 internodes, 2 leaves on top, stick the bottoms in the rooting hormone for about 5 seconds, pick it up and shake it off, and then you stick them in the ground. So I will come back to you in a moment and we will put these in the ground. So this is my mist irrigation bed here. I have 2 nozzles here, one here and one right there, 2 mist nozzles, and they're going to come on in just a few seconds. There we go. You can see they are on. So they're both on right now, and they're overlapping one another. And what they're doing is they're just spraying a fine mist down on the plants here, and they come on once every 5 minutes for 10 seconds. And you can see the water kind of dripping off of the leaves here. And I have it set up to come on at 6 a.m. and to shut off at 9 p.m. So it's not running during the night, only during the heat of the day, and that's to prevent transpiration and to keep the water, keep the leaves moist so that they don't burn or anything, and that way they will have something with photosynthesis to actually allow it to make roots. So that's the mist part here. When I'm actually planting in a couple of minutes, I'll shut these down because I'm going to have the iPhone real close. I don't want to soak yet. A couple other things. So I have a document right here, and it has numbers on the side, over here on the row, on the far left hand side, and you see it says row 2, 4, 6, 8, and row 2 is John's elderberry, row 4 is non-applicable, row 6 is Adam's elderberry. Nothing on row 8 yet, but that's where I'm going to be putting the Illinois everbearing mulberry that I have. And then you'll notice that in row 14 I also have Illinois everbearing mulberry. I took some earlier in the year, but they're not doing so well, so I wanted to wait and take some a little bit later in the year. So what I do is I put down a tape measure from the end. Row 2 is at 2-inch mark, row 4 is at 4 and there's nothing there, row 6 is where my elderberry is, row 8 is where the mulberry will be. And you can see I'm right on top. What I do is I put a piece of wood, a piece of bamboo that came in with a plant here, and that allows me to keep my rows straight. So I will have all the rows in here, and make sure that you document. So on my document here, I have the quantity that I planted, and in the notes section I have little notes here. So I have an A on that one, I have a B on that one, and I put down here when I planted it. And well, let's see, for A I used powdered rooting hormone, and for row B I still need to mark it, but I use liquid rooting hormone there. Today will be row C because I am in August and I'll have a different day, so I will put the date planted and the fact that I'm using liquid rooting hormone there. So real quick, let me talk about the rest of the mist system irrigation bed here. So the mist heads, they're DRAM, D-R-A-M-M mist heads that feed into a 1-inch PVC pipe here, which goes into a let's see, a lawn sprinkler here. This runs into an electric wire which I have back in my shed back there, and that has a Galcon 8056 ACS, I think it is, programmable sprinkler valve that shuts these on and off. And like I said, it's on from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. for every 5 minutes. It comes on for 10 seconds at a time. So that's how it comes on and off, is with the timer. My input is right here, and I have another piece going off to the side that's for future use. Right now it's just dead-ended and not used. And I go into a water filter here. This water filter is designed to remove any chlorine and stuff like that. So I'm giving it straight filtered water at least. And I'm just coming out of a garden hose there. So the garden hose. Okay guys, I have all the aronia here. I've dipped them in the rooting hormone solution. I've laid out my stick here, so I have the measurement according to the tape measure. So we're going into row 18 here, and I'm gonna start about halfway out, and I'm just gonna push the plants down about 2 inches, and they're gonna be about 1.5 inches to 2 inches apart here, just to keep the roots from tangling too much. You'll notice that where I have 2 roots here, I did cut some of the leaves off in half going across. So you got a main vein that comes up here on the top. You kind of cross cut that, and that just prevents it from perspiring, or as we call it with plants, transpiring too much and letting too much get away. So I will go ahead and finish putting the rest of these out, but that is how you propagate Viking aronia. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also visit GreatEscapeFarms.com. Consider subscribing for our email, where we post information on when a video is posted, when a blog post comes up, and also we let you know when we have sales at our nursery. So thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great day.